My dream will finally come true! The status of being king is something I can never get! But if I destroy the world, I can become the next king! The preparations are complete! I will take the king's son hostage and cast the spell of destruction! No one can stop me! And now, I wait.
Say, Crow! I know you've met a bunch of people already. You've never seen a talking Lizardman, right? Look! It's the Lizardman Kingdom! But don't worry, they're nice people. You try to be friends with them. I'm sure they'll be helpful. But there seem to be more Lizardmen cooperating with evil lords lately. Here's that forest. They say that if you be attacked, if you walk into the forest here, maybe there's a reason why. They're siding with the evil lord. You should help them if they're in need.
Sure thing, goddess. Alright guys, here's the deal. I recorded this episode and found out that I didn't really like the commentary that much. So I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to start reading the dialogue yourself for this one. So I won't be reading, a majority of it for you guys. And, I'm kind of sorry about that, but, I don't want to, put something out there that, I didn't like. So I honestly didn't like it, so I thought, maybe you guys wouldn't like it either. So, for this particular episode, I decided, let's continue on with, the genres that I liked. However, when I looked back to this video, I relatively found out that I did not have enough time to talk about genres specifically. The last episode was actually relatively long. So, for this one, we'll be continuing, the RPG genre, and talking about, why I like it so much. Now, the reason I like it so much was, yes, Final Fantasy had a very big impact on, why I like RPGs so much. It was the one game that I could play that, none of the, elder people in my, family could actually remotely, beat. And, that was the one game I could. But, another contributor to, my favoritism to RPGs would probably be Pokemon. Now, back when I was a kid, I loved games, and, the prospects of, handhelds, were, far away from my mind. Now, that was until, I want to say probably my 6th or 7th birthday. Could have been my 9th. But, I digress. I received a Game Boy for, a Game Boy Color. It was blue, and it was, the most majestic thing I thought of at the time. I really loved that thing. I actually still have it somewhere, too. Anyways, so it was the very first console that I technically owned. And the first game that I ever got for it was Pokemon Yellow. And, Pokemon Yellow was technically my obsession. I would stay up nights. I literally stayed up all night in my parents' room just to play this game. Why my parents' room? I think I was scared at the time. Anyways, so, the prospects of leveling up, all these, little pocket monsters was, a very, very cool idea at the time. And, I wanted to make sure that all my Pokemon were level 100. And believe it or not, if I remember correctly, my very first level 100 in that game was my Pidgeot. Pidgeot. Whatever pronunciation you want to, go with that Pokemon. Anyways. So, that only, fed to my addiction to the RPG franchise. And, I played a couple of other ones, like, let's say, wow, I really can't think of anything off the top of my head. Wild Arms, there we go. Now, that was another game that was, like, one of my absolute favorites. Basically, there were 3 characters, and you had to basically, get them together. That was also a very cool prospect, and I loved the idea to that. Now, right here, what am I doing? It looks like I'm just standing there. What was I doing there? Anyways, back to the, RPG thing. Basically, I love that game. And, main character had a gun. Like, the main character. His story was actually relatively the most simple. And then, like, the coolest opening to all the characters was basically the blonde treasure hunter who had a mouse. Now, it was really cool. Basically, he had to dodge a bunch of rocks chasing after him, and basically a lot of traps. It was, like, really, really cool. And, yeah, then after that, we went with this girl. Oh, by the way, before I forget, when we first came to this point, where we're talking to the Lizard King and whatnot, I did mention, however, how this was very reminiscent of the very first level. Don't know why I would point that out right now, but, I just thought, it was on my mind. Anyways, so then we had the girl in Wild Arms. And her story was, like, so kind of like, what do I do? And, yet again, my father, tried to, like, figure this out too. I think this was, like, the final case why he doesn't like the RPG franchise anymore. Well, actually, he never necessarily liked it to begin with, so... Anyways. It was very... I wouldn't say difficult. I mean, you just basically had to go into every single room, like, check it out, and, like, use the magic tier that you got, but... It was very, very odd at the time, but, I still really love that game. It's in my room on the shelf, like, right across from me. Anyways, we're getting to the point where I have to leave you guys.
Unexpected intruder! But you can't defeat me! Go, my loyal lizard soldiers! I am King Lexart's son Rex. I command all of you to stop! I do not wish for you to fight humans under the command of this evil lord! Alright. I finally became king, too. Jeez!
Alright guys, I'm back. Now, to sum it up, we will be talking about RPGs probably, most likely, again in the next episode, because that one's also relatively short too. But to kind of like summarize, like, what I was talking about in this episode, the one thing that I relatively liked the most in a lot of the RPGs that I did play as a child was the simple fact that, like, you had a group of people that you could play as simultaneously, and, you could level them all up, and they would all learn, different skills and whatnot, and, it was just, like, a very nice thing, during those times. Nowadays, you only play as one character, and the rest of the characters are all controlled by a computer. Those are fun too, but, these will always be, like, my favorite types of games. Anyways, it's getting relatively short before I actually have to end this, so I will see, you guys in the next episode.
Thank you very much. Thanks to you, the soldiers are free.
I've done so much to help me. Don't you mean you? That's what I meant. I must thank you for fixing your grammar mistake. No, just in general. The next time we meet, I'll be sure to come to your aid. There's a small gift for my kingdom. Take care! Crow got frightened! Can I have this?
Thank you, Crow!
For what?
Just in general? Anyways, that Noir is terrible! How can he do that to the Lizardmen? But now the humans and Lizardmen can be much better friends! Let's move on to the next island!
A nation where Lizardmen and humans coexist! But beware, he's about to mess up that peace! Crow! Save the Lizard Prince Rex! With Rex's help, you defeated the evil lord. Next time on Hero 30, Treasure Island!
Treasure Island? I love that movie!
Kisama!